Hi, everyone. How is everyone today? I know that I'm not at my usual time, and I apologize for anyone that was tuning in at 11. I had an appointment this morning, but here I am. It's 12:15 and it's Thursday. We're almost through the Matrix work week, and it is October 20th. How is everyone this morning? Good morning, Raymond. How are you? Thanks for joining us. So, light beings, welcome to the 5 dimension. We are in telepathy school. We are in Earth school. I'm Mary Amy, and this is Living in the Light. So I'm all about shifting away darkness, guiding you to your truest potential, cracking open that beautiful glowing light in your heart. So did you have any time outside yet today? Well, early this morning, I walked my puppy dog, Elsa, who's over here. You can't see her. She's hiding. We actually have the pumpkin taking up most of the couch right now. It's a beautiful day. It's great for us to spend time in nature, 5 to 15 minutes. Can you do that? Have you tuned into your heart today? How are you feeling? What was your first thought? Have you had some good intentions? Today, we're going to cover topics like White Rabbit, Terminated Timeline, and Death Grip. Of course, I'll touch on angels and psychic phenomenon. Have you been tuning into your 5 senses and you are mastering your 6th sense? Are you receiving premonitions throughout the day? Maybe you're doing some remote viewing. And remote viewing is where you are connecting to another source and you're viewing a location, a person, a circumstance. And you can do that in your mind's eye. We're cracking open our third eye, our mind's eye. It's one of the 7 chakras. We must have alignment. Our thoughts, words, and actions must be aligned, and we must have balance. We all have duality going on within us. There's good and bad. And sometimes we're not so proud of the things that we've done in our life. However, we can forgive ourselves. We can accept ourselves. Because as we accept ourselves, we awaken even more. So are you in the 5th dimension with me? Well, hello. Yes, you are, because you must have ascended or you wouldn't be here. We're on the same timeline. That's why we're going to cover the terminated timeline. If anyone wants to offer what they think that is. Now, anyone who's joining us, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Now, as you know, I've shared with you that I'm an intuitive and I've been working as a coach, a holistic coach, a practitioner, a healer, and I live in New York. I'm just 45 minutes outside of Manhattan, and I find that it's important to offer information, and that's why I share what I do here on this live video, because I'm all about sharing with you that you're worthy. And we must cherish ourselves and love ourselves. Like I said, can you look in the mirror and you can say, I love myself, I accept myself? Can you do that? But why can't you do that? Are you sabotaging yourself? Because we are all looking towards reaching our destiny. And so that's why I say, what are your 5 humongous goals? Because maybe your destiny is one of the 5 humongous goals. And you're the only one who can figure that out. All the answers are within you, aren't they? You were born with all this information. Your spirit and your heart knows all. And all of our characteristics are coming online every single minute. Because when you awaken, you're coming from a higher consciousness. You're an advanced being of light. You've expanded your awareness. So welcome to the 5th dimension. Your puppy is so cute. Thank you. She's moving around today because I was out, so I think she's excited I'm here. So I know that it seems like kind of a little bit crazy out there. And that's why yesterday we spoke about the clown world. It seems like we're living in a circus. Do you feel like you're living in a circus? And maybe it's not in your community, but it sure as heck seems like when you put your phone on and you look at some of these videos or what's in the news, what's in the media, you start to see this kind of really bizarre stuff. People are wearing some crazy outfits and some really crazy makeup, and it's really, to me, I I feel as though it kind of baffles me. I get a little confused, and then I have to remind myself it's an illusion. The matrix is an illusion and it's going into the dumpster. And so this new world that we've created, this 5 dimension, it's beautiful. It's heaven on earth. Everyone comes out of their homes and they hug each other. And there's no divide. What does divide do? It gives those in power more power because everyone's distracted. As I said, they say, look over there. Don't look over here. Look over there. And so then we get distracted and confused, and it's crisis, 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 crisis. So I've unlocked the chains, because when we unblock ourselves, we can reach our destiny. And so it's time for us to unblock ourselves, all of us, all of us. So, white rabbit. Well, do we know what that terminology means? The white rabbit, the rabbit that has no hue. It's kind of, it's all but invisible, the white rabbit. It's just white. And it's a symbol of love, the white rabbit, and tenderness. And, white is the color, reflect and scatter all visible wavelengths of light. So a white rabbit actually represents inner power. Isn't that what we're all about right now? I'm saying, let's get our personal power. Let's leave fear. We've walked out of the matrix. I don't know if you've climbed out. How did you get out? Did you climb? Did you just leave one day? You woke up and said, oh, well, what the heck is that? I don't really believe anything that anyone's saying anymore, because that's a way to control us. That's a way to have power over us. That's an illusion. There's another reality out there. And the reality is that you can have your own thoughts. You can have free thinking. And all the answers are within this vessel that we have, right? And so I tell you that you're a sacred being of light. And I say to you, you must have an invisible line that surrounds you, and no one can come within this line, this invisible line, without permission, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. And why is that? Because sometimes people do things that don't feel so good. And when we have pain in our heart, we are injured. And it might not even be physically that we're injured. We might feel harm from just the words that someone says. So we have to be able to say no. If someone injures us, then we have to be able to say no. So give yourself permission. Accept all of you. You're a beautiful being of light. You are. And thanks for joining us. So anyone who's here, tell me where you're coming from. I'm in New York, and we know Raymond's in Thailand, and Raymond's joining us today. Hey, Ian, how are you? Thanks for joining us. Yeah, you watched the video yesterday. You said, how am I? Well, that's a good question. Thanks for asking me that, Ian. How am I? Well, this morning I had a very important appointment, and I was really like hanging on my breath. Hey, how are you? Liliana. Hello, Mary. It's Liliana. Thanks for joining us. Well, guys, thanks. I hope you liked the video. I had an important appointment this morning, and it was literally 2 months in the making. And so I had a stomach ache. I felt sick to my stomach. I was shaking. I was nervous. And I was basically standing up to someone that I had never stood up to. And it was really, really scary. And so I asked the angels. I was praying. I said, God, carry me through this. Because we all go through some of these times where we feel like we are powerless, and we feel that we're weak and we're vulnerable. And someone else might seem like they have it all going on. And so I went there by myself, like I'm bring tears to my eyes. And I said, just get through it, just get through it. And it's not easy sometimes. It's not easy. It can be really scary out there by ourselves. But, I asked God and I prayed and I said, help me, help me. And so I heard really words. I heard the information that I'm the only one who can go through it. I'm the only one who can go through it. And even if someone was by my side, it doesn't matter because I have to go through it. It's something that I have to do. It was very scary. And you know what? I was like shaking. I kept running to the bathroom. And then I had to wait an extra hour when I got there. But you know what? When I got in there, I was calm, I was cool, I was chill. And you know what? I felt like someone was holding my hand and walking me through the process. And so here I am. And I said, oh my gosh, I'm so happy I got through that. And I have to go do a live immediately and just be there for everyone else who needs strength. So I am here and I am being strong for you. So everyone have a wonderful day. So let's go back. White rabbit. Now why am I bringing up white rabbit? Because well, I literally had that information pop into my head when I was thinking of topics last night. And so I want to share with you why. Now we say, have you fallen down the rabbit hole? Now, the rabbit is very famous in the Alice in Wonderland stories. And the white rabbit was all about time, time, time. So I thought that that was kind of an interesting way to go today because we are living in this physical reality and it is about time. Like this morning, I had to be there at 9:50. And I'm not somebody that considers time. I'm here for you at 11 most of the time. But time is not something that I focus on because I think it blocks me from having more of like a flow going on, more of something very I don't know, it just my energy doesn't work that way. But white rabbits, it's a person who's in a hurry and they're complaining about being late. Was it an evil entity that I had to go up against? No, I didn't have to go up against an evil entity. I had to go up against an evil person, an evil being. And so I got through it. It's all good. I'm all good. And I appreciate, the support from you. So rabbits are considered lucky animals and white rabbits are good luck and of an upcoming opportunity. So a white rabbit was in the Alice in Wonderland stories. And sometimes we hear now about it's a symbol of a spiritual awakening. If you see a rabbit, I live, off from the street and I live in a suburb. And sometimes I drive down my driveway because it's a long driveway. And so there's a little rabbits that are poking their heads out through the fence. And I always see that feel and sense that that's a symbol of something good. It's a positive omen. So if you see a white rabbit or you see a rabbit, it's a positive omen. And so they say that it's good luck in finances, family, and love. And so a white rabbit, when the white rabbit goes down the rabbit hole and they say, oh, I've tumbled down the rabbit hole, they mean that you're literally going through some kind of bizarre situation that's confusing and it's difficult to leave because when your mind tumbles down a rabbit hole, it's when you start uncovering. And we've kind of, if you're here with me and you've been awakened, because we're in the 5 dimension now, it's not another location, it's just a mindset. It's just how your mind is thinking. You're not really considering all the programming from the past. You're not saying that you believe that the only way to go is all the structures and the matrix and the 9 to 5, and then you work 40 or 50 years and then you retire and then you pass away. That's not very much fun. I'm coming from a place of Jacera Nacera. We were talking about that the other day, Jacera Nacera, which is where they let go of all the IRS systems, all credit cards, all debt. They have a new election, and we have peace on earth. Don't we want that, Jacera Nacera, peace on earth? And so when you tumble down the rabbit hole, I sense that it's something that's good because your mind is expanding. Your awareness is expanding. Oh, Elsa, you don't want to join us? Elsa just took off and left. Elsa, come on, stay with us. I like you. You're my co-host. Stay here with me. And so when we tumble down the rabbit hole, we start to realize that maybe what we've been hearing out in the linear world and the physical reality isn't what we thought. And so we start to say, we pick up something and we read it and then we look, and then it takes us to something else. It's kind of like what I'm doing with topics. It's streaming into another topic. And that's what happens when you tumble down the rabbit hole. And so it might seem bizarre and confusing, but you know what? It's important for us to take a look. And as we really kind of monitor and we synchronize ourselves and we kind of have an understanding about our senses, what clear sense have you mastered and what clear sense is really rising up within you? You will start to have more of these rabbit hole initiations where you kind of want to keep going and keep learning more because it is like a clue. The rabbit hole means you're following an unlikely clue and finding yourself in the middle of an extraordinary situation. Isn't that beautiful? Let's all find ourselves in some kind of extraordinary situation. It's very exciting. I believe this world that's coming forward, maybe my mindset is already there because I can see the future. I have premonition dreams. Like last night, I'll share my dream with you. I had a dream that there was a friend. I had a friend, and then there was someone that I didn't know. And he had an office, and he had a very big bank account, you could say, right? And he was, I guess he was wealthy, and he had one little office, and then all of a sudden there was a flood. And so from that office, he then all of a sudden had many offices. So I thought to myself, what's with the flood? I know we've been mentioning Noah's Ark and how that was a cataclysmic event. And we're saying, is there going to be some event that happens to us? And I've been having premonitions that, yes, I think something is going to happen to us. And what is that going to be? Is it going to be Jacera Nasera? Is it going to be something in the way of like what there was the Noah's Ark that flooded the earth and everyone had to kind of recreate themselves? Now, I don't know if there was really a flood that covered the earth or that was a metaphor for an idea of a new beginning. And so when I say there's going to be some kind of event, I don't mean that we're going to be, we're going to pass away. I mean, maybe it's just going to be that a new life is going to come into play. And this old existence, this old civilization that's really kind of ran itself into the ground. And we're going to talk about that next, the Terminated timeline. I'm starting to believe that we're about to come on to some kind of huge event. Now, I know that you can go onto YouTube and some of the social media, and there's YouTubers like myself, and we speak of the solar flash. We speak of some kind of very big environmental change, or it might be something like, I don't know, a volcano erupts, or people just simply awaken, maybe a prophet, a savior. I say, let's save ourselves. I'm not waiting for some big event because this is the only thing I can control is me. We can't control what's going on out here. However, we can come up with thoughts, and our thoughts actually create a physical reality. And that's why I say that when we all have the same thought, when I'm thinking about good things and positivity and service to others, and then you are, and the next person, all of a sudden we have unity. We're not divided. It's not about what we look like. It's not about the job we have, and it's not about how much stuff we have. It's about us, ourselves. So to tune inward, we have wisdom. You just have to connect with all your wisdom. And so when you awaken and when you realize there's another reality out there and it's positive, your thoughts are so powerful, and so are your words. It's like an affirmation every time you speak. And so when I say to you, when you wake up, what's your first thought? And did you have a good intention? It matters, because that's how you begin your day. Because we can sit around and we can go, oh, everything's terrible. Oh my gosh, I have the worst life in the world. It's awful. Boo-hoo, boo-hoo. I can do that. But where's that going to take me? I say we wipe ourselves off. We wipe off all the grime and the dirt and whatever it is that's bothering us and all the negative emotions. And we pick ourselves up and we keep going. We keep going towards our destiny. Keep your eye on the prize. There's a prize out there for you. I know there is. And I say, let's quantum leap. Let's take a quick, energetic jump to the next spot, to the next place that we're supposed to go to. Because there is some place you're supposed to go to. And throughout your life, there's clues. So accept everything within you. Hey, Justin, positive vibes. Where are you coming from? I don't think we've heard from you before. You're going on the list. So how are you, Justin? Where are you coming from? I appreciate you saying positive vibes. Yes, positive vibes. So my dream last night, so what happened was there was this man, there was two men actually. One was a friend and one was this person I didn't know. So I was looking, I was kind of like in a bewildered state. I'm like, what's going on here? I've been having lots of dreams where I'm going to different locations. So it's the astral realm and I'm meeting people that I don't know in this world. They're strangers. And so I'm thinking, what's this? So this man is in this office and then there's a flood. And then all of a sudden, he has all these other offices in this big building. And then I get an office. And I said, what am I doing there? And I'm doing all my projects. I'm always creating projects. And so I'm in this wonderful location. And to me, it was a very positive, very positive dream. It was something very good. I mean, the night before I shared with you that I had some big monster-esque kind of animal that just bit me. And that's how I woke up. And I thought that was evil. I thought that was a psychic attack. I wasn't scared of it. It had like this big mouth. It was like one of those fish that, you know what it looked like even? I realized it looked like one of those fishes, like an eel that's traveling underwater and it has like a big mouth with all these big teeth. So Justin is telling us that he is from the UK. Where did I just write your name here? Justin. So Justin is from the UK, England. Wow. Thanks for joining us. How did you find us? So Justin, we were just mentioning, we're moving on to Terminated timeline, and I was just mentioning about what the white rabbit represents. And so a white rabbit is good luck. And we know the white rabbit from the Alice in Wonderland stories. And if you're a conspiracy theorist, like I'm considered, and maybe you are too, but a conspiracy theorist is really someone who tells the truth. A conspiracy theorist, you are one of those that is considered, you tumble down the rabbit hole. And so you are, the rabbit hole means you're following an unlikely clue and finding yourself in the middle of an extraordinary situation. And it challenges your beliefs and changes your life. And so I really sense that most of us who are considered conspiracy theorists are actually tumbling down a rabbit hole. Now, maybe it seems bizarre and confusing at first, but then as you get a handle on it, you start to realize that it's all connected. And so those that are in power, we've said over and over again, those that are in power, those leaders, now we don't know, allegedly, are they shape-shifting reptilians, draconians? Are they clones? Are they being puppets from like a puppeteer? You know, there's a puppeteer that's running everything and they have big bank accounts. And are they the R's, you know, I'm not going to say their names, but the R's family from the R family? Are they the elite? You know, the elite. You know, I really believe wholeheartedly that there must be someone that is so, an entity that is so unbelievably, phenomenally huge, expansive, that can run everything like it does. And, are they taking an aerial position, like I say, when you're working on your intuitive abilities, coming from all different sides? And so I say, I wonder about how this is all being mastermind. It's funny because I have a daughter, and I would go to all these children's movies. Anyone who's joining us, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. I go to all these kids movies for a long time. And so I'd go to all these kids movies, and the one common theme that they had, all the plots had some mastermind, very wealthy person, and they were doing injustice. They were the villain, injustice to all of the other characters in the film. They were either very wealthy or they were some like crazy entrepreneur scientist. So there was some crazy scientist that was always running things. Or, like I said, a very wealthy villain. And isn't that kind of what's the theme that's going on in our world? And we wonder about that. And, just be aware, just kind of look at everything and don't take it at face value is my suggestion. And, oh, by the way, Ian, thanks so much for saying that. I guess there's, evil entities, evil people, there's dark hats, there's Mr. Smiths, there's a secret government out there, there's agents, the three, the acronym branches of the government, the three-letter branches of the government, they all seem to kind of be in on all the secrets that are going on. And I mentioned the secret government, the secret space programs, project, whatever it is, Project Bluebeam, Project Paperclip, Project Mockingbird. There was one that I found out about today, and I was going to mention to you. Oh no, something fell. And that was, let me find it. It's interesting. There's so many of these projects. Project High Jump, and it was about Antarctica. So I want to read about that. Maybe I'll talk about Antarctica tomorrow. So I'm leading into, like, as we realize that the rabbit hole, this hole that we climb into, and we realize that things aren't as they seem, we start to kind of get more awareness. And sometimes, when I go into the matrix, like, for example, in the last few days, I was in all these situations that I consider the matrix, which is, everyone's walking around doing their thing, and it's like very robotic, and, it's very systematic, and there's no free thinking going on. It's not like, when I said, when you're a kid, everyone's like, shh, shh, here, just read this book, study this book, and tell me what it says. You memorize it. There wasn't really a lot of, how do you feel? It's okay to daydream. What are your emotions? It was more like that was not accepted. And then I'll give you an example. I was in church the other day, and there was a small child behind me, and this child was really acting out. And the child wasn't acting out in a bad way. The child was just talking a lot. And so it was annoying. It was like a little bit annoying and frustrating. And so I said to myself, hold on, Mary, hold on. Practice what you preach, because here's this child, and this child is just being a child. And so I think we really should allow children to be themselves. And so the parent was actually a very nurturing parent, and the child was just talking and doing things, but it's like, so what, right? I mean, kids are supposed to be themselves. So that's why I think that most of us have been crushed, unless we had a really lovely, nurturing parent that allowed us. Everything was really very, very systematic, and it was very controlled. And, there wasn't a lot of room for expressing your personality or conveying your truth. And I wonder if that's why so many people say, oh, I don't really want to tell people what I'm thinking because they might not like me. It's all about, are you liked? Are you doing what everyone else is doing? And if you're not, then people kind of look at you like, well, you're not part of this group now. You don't belong with us. And I don't know if it's so healthy for us to all be attached to so many groups and, beliefs. I think we really have within us, we have a thinking. We can have our own thoughts and our own beliefs and our own interests and our own ideas. And that should be acceptable too. I'm not saying anything that harms someone else. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, you know, like, I'm a rebel, you're a rebel, we're rebels because we're not with the pack, the masses. And there are those who are awakening every single day because they are doubling down. They are doubling down. They're making a commitment to increase their beliefs. The other, evil is doing that right now. Evil is doing that. And they are going to continue to do that, and they are determined to do that. And so they're putting more stuff out there, more stuff, crisis, 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 fear, 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 fear. And they're doing that so that they get control again, because they don't want us to have our own thoughts, our own thinking, our own free will. Now, I'm in New York here right now, and I'm definitely a minority in how I think. I'm in a very conservative town. And what I mean by that is that they have, I don't mean conservative politically, I mean conservative in the way they handle their life. It's not like you're an outspoken person in this town. And so, I find for me, it can be difficult. And so I only do it. I pick specific times that I'm going to speak my position. And it's only if I have to, because I don't like a debate. I don't think it's necessary. You're not going to change how I am at my age. This is who I am. This is how I think. And so my point is that if you feel as though that you're a minority right now, you feel as though that you don't have others that have the same beliefs, just give it some time. And you know what? Here I'm saying time, and we mentioned the white rabbit. Give it some time because it's coming forward in this physical reality. There's big changes going on right now energetically. If you look at the Schumann resonance, which shares, it's a mechanism, and it shares with what's going on with the energy on the earth, geomagnetic storms and the light that's coming on the earth. More people are becoming awakened, and they're becoming aware that there's another reality, another belief system that's possible. And you might feel as though it looks like impossible right now. Like, how is this going to turn around? But you have to know that everything on your television is paid programming. It's not free speech. It's not free thought. There's those that are paying for that. So it's entertainment. It's not to be taken seriously. I mean, I just can't I can't understand how you can take any of that seriously. You have to, if you're watching television, the news, the media, that's all paid advertising. It's mass marketing. We are the customer. What are you buying? It's programming. That's why they're called programs. It's subliminal messaging. And so let's leave the television, let's leave the media, and leave the news. If you're going to watch it, expect only for entertainment. Hey, wow, New York, I'd love to go there one day. Yes, New York is great right now. I mean, hi, Raymond, thanks for saying that. It's beautiful here right now. It's 60 in the 60s. It's lovely. What are your thoughts on the Twin Towers? And that was so sad. I still remember so clear on the news. So anyone who's joining us, please like the video and subscribe to the channel if you so want to. So about the Twin Towers, it was horrific. It was horrific that all of those people were in the Twin Towers when they went down. I in fact know people personally who had relatives, whether it was a sister, a brother, a cousin, because, the financial world is so close to where I live, and it was horrible. and it broke my heart. And I cry over every time I see that, the demise of the Twin Towers. My thoughts are that there was evil that did that. It was definitely evil. And who did the evil is up for debate. That's what I can say. I can say that there was evil beings. I think all the truth eventually comes out. And, you know, I, I, I believe in karma. I believe in, for every action, there is a reaction. And so everything comes around. It's a horrible, horrible situation. Any kind of crime against humanity is any crime. And it breaks my heart. And it saddens me that there's beings out there, that there's individuals out there that would want to harm someone else in any way, whether they're thinking it, whether they're saying it, whether they're acting upon it. And so to me, that was a tragedy, a huge, huge, impossible tragedy. Liliana says, what are your thoughts that certain movies show that they're really reality of the world is like the movie in the Matrix? Show the reality of the world like the movie. Yes, because it is. And it's like I cover all these topics and I share with you, it's almost like we're an underground, we're like like a little bit underground thinking, or a kind of cluster of beings that are creating their own world, and it is like a lot of these movies, that whether it's the clone movie, whether it's the people that were being held captive and then they come out, and maybe they are in like Antarctica, they're somewhere else, and they come out into the land and it's just beautiful nature, and the captors are left behind. Because I believe good will prevail 1,000,000%, because I've seen in the angelic realm, in the astral realm, in the spiritual realm, and I've seen that dark forces, black hats, evil entities, Mr. Smiths, Agent Smiths, are on their way out. And I can tell you that because in the last 10 days, I have not had a true evil entity attack me. One of those that is all dressed in black, they would come in my dreams and they'd have a black hat. And they would be wearing, literally like a trench coat, and they would have scariest eyes. But it wasn't even that they said anything to me. It was more telepathically, more energetically, that it was like demonic. And so it scared the heck out of me. And each time it happened in the moment, I didn't realize that I should just wrap love around it and it would go away. In the moment when it first happens, spontaneously, I go right to, and you hold your breath and you pause and you get scared and your heart stops. And then I realize, I come to my senses and I say, hold on. I'm not going to be scared of this. It's just presenting itself in the scariest way with the scariest energy, and something that will bring fright into my system. Because evil energies know exactly what will bring you fear, because they have kind of figured out a way to get into your thoughts, because low vibrational energies are attracted to each other. So that's why I say, like, if we rise up and we accept everything within us and we come from a place of love 24/7. When you're in the fifth dimension, it's love, love, love 24/7. And so when you're in the place of love, 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 evil cannot harm you. You cannot be harmed. And so we must really try our best to just think love, love, love. And I know it sounds a little corny, but you're going to realize that when you have peace on earth, that's the only thing that's going to exist there. Now, if you want to stay in the matrix, for those of you just joined me, I don't think they're my regulars. I think those who've just joined, they might say, oh, well, I don't know. This lady's like a little bit like too like, wishy-washy, too like positivity and kind of corny. Then they might want to go back to the matrix. But the matrix is not going to stick around. I've been reading more and more and listening more and more, and everyone around me that I view their videos, are on the same wavelength as I am, like-minded. We are all anticipating a big event to come, because in the physical reality, the doubling down has got to serve them. It's got to happen soon, whatever it is, because they're trying to grab onto us. Okay, so it's going to be a terminated timeline. Be aware. Here we are moving in. So the three-dimensional matrix, be aware. Yes, it was so sad. The three-dimensional matrix is a terminated timeline right now. It came to an end. It's just working itself out. We're going to see it leave. It's going to leave. Like I said, evil has left. Anyone who's joining us, like the video and subscribe to the channel and tell me where you're coming from. I'm in New York. We have a lot of visitors here today. We have UK. We have Thailand. We have, an assortment of people here. It's very exciting. I'm very excited for everyone who's joined us. So, good news. I'm here to tell you, I wish I had some balloons and some confetti to throw in the air to tell you that the matrix, linear, three-dimensional reality is terminated. Now, we are going to see that literally in the matrix very soon. So what does that mean? That means the white hats are going to come forward. Jacera Nacera. A lot of change is about to happen. If you look at other civilizations that collapsed in history, if the history books are correct, maybe Tartaria, they were exterminated. We're not going to be exterminated. We're not, that's done. They've already been trying to control the population. They've been trying to do that. I mentioned the 5G. I mentioned the last 2.5 years, what they've been rolling out. They've been attempting to do that. And why is cancer prevalent? Why are heart attacks? Why are people dying, on the street in their sleep? People passing away in their sleep. What is that? And some of it is children. It's teenagers. It's very weird. That's strange, isn't it? Gotta wonder about that. Like, what is that all about? And so this terminated timeline, it's the end, it's ceasing. The sequence of events. I don't know if you ever heard about Stargate or Project Looking Glass, where they were able to see the past, the present, and the future. Well, obviously the present is the present. The past and the future timelines. And so there was the good timeline and there was the not so good timeline. For them who was trying to control the timelines, they were trying to have a different outcome than heaven on earth, than the 5 dimension. Because as we ascend, it's about our thinking. That's all it is. It's just changing your thinking. It's coming from a different perspective and a different perception. And I know if you're here with us today, you have a different belief than a lot of those out there. Now, the 10% that are awakened right now on this global earth, this new earth, Gaia, it's rising every day because of the doubling down of the evil. And so people are questioning. They're saying, this doesn't make sense to me. Even those that are very much sticklers and they're very much conformers, they're looking at my social media and I put a whole lot of stuff that is unusual. And they're watching all of my stories every day. And so if they were those that were really stuck in the matrix, then they wouldn't be thinking about putting their foot outside of it. Now, because you're here with me today, because you're working on your telepathy, and this is Earth School, and you're awakened to the 5 dimension, you're on your way. And that is wonderful, because those that have not, everyone's going to have to really awaken, because they're going to get a crash course in what's been going on. You've had months and months to figure this out. I've been awakened since really, like fully awakened since November 24th last year. So it's almost a year. And so since then, hi, Tommy. Thanks for joining us from the country. From the country, we're speaking of the terminated timeline. So the schedule, this conceptual view of chronological events that have been going on in the three-dimensional world, Project Looking at Glass gave a look at the two timelines, which was the five-dimensional and the three-dimensional. And the five-dimensional, they tried their very best. The secret government, the secret black projects, the secret space program, they tried their very best to challenge the direction the world was going to go into. And so they set up a whole bunch of events to come, which is some of this 2030. Some of this is related to politics. Some of this is related to medical. And if you pay attention, you can see how all of a sudden everything rose up really quickly because they were fearful of the 5D, the five dimension coming forward. And so it's happened already. So this terminated timeline, thank goodness it's been terminated. You will eventually see in the physical reality. Now, I've already seen it in the angelic realm, in the astral realm, in my mind's eye, in my third eye. I've seen it. I've seen already the outcome. I've seen light come onto the earth. Now, it's the end of this timeline. They have loss of power, decline, deterioration. Hey, Deanna, thanks for joining us from Michigan. Wow, we have a full house today, don't we? So we're just covering the terminated timeline of the three dimension and how it's the end of this timeline. So what is that going to mean for everyone? We're going to start to feel like we're out of sorts. We're going to not understand what's going to happen next. So it's going to be a bit of an adventure. And, I don't know how many more months this is going to go on. It's going to probably happen before the end of the year that it's going to be completely terminated and we're going to have a new beginning. So it's going to have strange energies. Be aware, because you are awakened, you're going to start to not feel like yourself. So maybe you're going to have physical symptoms. Maybe you're going to feel like you're just not yourself. And you're going to say, I really don't feel like myself anymore. Hi, Keith. Thanks for joining us. Now, Keith, have you joined us before? Because I don't remember you. Maybe I didn't write you down. Where are you coming from? Thanks for joining us. I hope you like the video and subscribe to the channel so others can find us and join with us here on the 5-dimension Earth School, Telepathy School. So the terminated timeline, it's pretty exciting, isn't it? So there's going to be strange energies and maybe some odd phenomenon. So I don't know how this is going to come about. I sense there's angels around me. So are we going to begin to see the angels? Are we going to be able to really see evil? There's these videos out there that people are waving their hands. It's like they turn, they see something very scary, and then they start flailing their hands and then they die. And so I wonder, what is that? Is that demons coming for them? Is that some kind of issue within their physical vessel? There's going to be some strange things that are happening, but there's going to be new understandings and people are going to become on the same page as us. Oh, Twitter. Hi. Yay, Keith. Thanks. So, every single day I wake up, it's probably a little bit different for me because I don't feel like the old Mary, the old version of me. I feel like a better version of me. And so that's the good side of this. Maybe there's this terminated timeline, and which is fine because all the systems are in the dumpster. And when we become more of ourselves, more of our personality. So what I mean by that is like when you were a child, You probably were your best version of you, whether you realized it or not, when you were a little kid, maybe before you entered school, because you were free, right? Most of the time you were just talking about things, you were seeing things the way a child sees things, and you were innocent. And it really was heaven on earth probably at that time in your life. And then when you got into school, you had all these rules and regulations, and you were told what to do, and you had to kind of pull everything together, and you weren't allowed to express yourself, maybe in art class or when you played with your friends outside. And so we're going to become more of ourselves like we were as children. That's what it feels like to me right now. And you might have like this whole timeline thing that happens to you where you're going to jump timelines. So let's say you have on your 5 humongous goals. I'll give you an example. Let's say on your 5 humongous goals, we'll just make something up right now. Let's say one of your goals is to we'll say it's to have, there's a certain house that you want, or you want to own a house. We'll say you want to own a house. And what's going to happen is you're going to somehow get to that destined goal faster than you ever could have in the past. Because when you awaken, it's like all of your characteristics, you're highly advanced, whether you realize it or not. You're much, much more intelligent than you ever thought. It's just that everything was kind of pushed down and compressed. And so all of your self is rising up. So if you have that as one of your goals, you're going to somehow zigzag to that destiny much quicker, that goal much quicker than you would have in the past. That's the only way I can say it. It's almost like you're jumping. You're just going to keep jumping towards something else, and everything's going to become more clear. So in other words, before we had all these frequencies coming at us, and we didn't know how to handle it. But when you become awakened and more aware, you start to kind of see. Like I said, when you tune into your clear senses, your feeling and emotions and thoughts, you become more patient with inside yourself. You have more room in your brain. And you're also kind of seeing more strategy with people and where their mentality is coming from. You can kind of see things ahead of time from a far distance, because you begin to read people. You read their reactions, you read their energy. And I'm not saying you have power over them, but you have more awareness over them, because most people are not aware. Law of attraction, manifestation is extremely quick. Yes, you're able to, as you awaken, manifest much more quickly. Law of attraction, you think it, then it takes on a physical, and then you focus some more and it happens and the puzzle gets put together. Yes, like for me, what I sense is, for a long time I wasn't allowing myself to be myself. I had, I don't know if you know, first of all, I had two major issues. I had an abandonment issue, which seems to have miraculously, I had a miracle. I don't have the issue of being abandoned anymore. So that's been taken care of in the last month. I don't feel scared. I feel as though I'm okay. Like I'm not worried about being abandoned anymore. I don't have that issue. And then the other was that I had speech trauma. I had a voice problem from the time I was 2.5. And so my voice did not develop normally. So in, I guess it was 20 years ago, I went to speech. And so I was taking classes for 4.5 hours a week with a professional speech teacher. And so I had to learn how to speak, and I had to learn how to articulate, and I had to get a different sounding voice. And so I had the mentality that I was still this very weak being for a long time. And so all of me came together, like this is probably the voice that I would have had. And I'm not scared of being abandoned anymore. And so I'm here really truly as myself. So I'm able to manifest, and I'm sharing that with you because that is what lies ahead for you. what lies ahead for you is you will be able to have all your ideas rise up, all of your DNA will come online, and life as you know it will disappear. And before you know it, you'll have a whole new life in front of you, and it will be a beautiful life. It's very, very exciting what's happening right now. Very exciting. And I know that you'll see more deeper meanings in life. You'll realize that you have a purpose and a passion, and you'll feel just love in your heart 24/7. And so the uncomfortable, chaotic world of villains, the density, that dense timeline of 3 dimension is just perishing. It's terminated. And you will no longer be compressed. And so you'll be all of you. It's a beautiful thing to be, right? So before we get on to the next topic, which is death grip, let me remind you about what this is. Light on the horizon. Good things are coming beyond our view, beyond our vision. A difficult situation will improve. Like I say, it started when for some reason, I'd see light on the horizon. It's like I would have a dream with this rectangular window, and I'd see through out onto this sunrise. And there would be beautiful, vivid colors, and there would be water rippling. And it was a symbol for me. It was a symbol for me that there is light coming. Good things are coming. It's good luck. And we are able to get through a difficult situation. We have personal power. Have a willingness to accept all of you. Don't sabotage yourself. Don't make fun of yourself. And, I share with you that it's important to keep your goals and your desires and your destiny kind of close to your heart, because sometimes we run into people and they don't mean it. And then they say something that's kind of negative, or they go, ha ha ha, you can't have that. Ha ha ha. And they laugh at you. And then you sabotage yourself. And then you start to feel like, well, I can't have what I want. I can't have that beautiful dream. You can have anything you want. Anything is possible. Deanna, that's crazy that I've seen that when I meditate. You've seen this. You've seen light on the horizon. Hello. Well, are you a Palladian? Are you a star seed like I am? Maybe, Deanna. So let's really branch out. Let's really consider anything is possible. And maybe you want to make a list of your 5 humongous goals. And maybe if you're having a bad time, like I had this morning, which was very, very scary situation for me. I was pretty much as terrified as I could be, because I didn't know how it was going to go at this appointment. And so I just said, I was like, I tried to pull all of me together to have a good intention that everything will work out. And you know what? Things are out of our control sometimes. We're supposed to go through it. So let's really, really, really trust that we are capable of so much more, and that we have light in our heart. We're cracking it open, and good things are coming. I sometimes am worried. I'm sometimes worried that those out there that have fear are going to let it consume them, and then they won't survive. They won't survive this because they don't realize that so much of everything that happens to us is our thoughts. And so I worry that, COVID was an opportunity to move away from all the negativity and create. Well, you know what? It's interesting that you say that. I think that the Terminated timeline believed that COVID was the Matrix believed that COVID was a way to have more power over us, when COVID was actually a way for everyone to stop what they were doing and to take another look at what their life was about. And they took a pause, and maybe they got more into areas of enjoyment and interests. And for me, I realized that what I really wanted to do was be a host, and I wanted to speak to people, and I wanted to be a motivational speaker. And it gave me a chance to kind of investigate that and nurture that and identify within me what I wanted to do. And maybe that's the case for a lot of you out there. Maybe that's what happened. However, here we are, and I know that there are those out there that aren't awakened. And so I constantly have like the hashtag wake up, awakening, wake up, because I'm scared that they are in this death grip. And you know, a death grip is a harmful effect or on someone or something, and they have control and power over you. And so, have you felt as though that you're in a death grip? Have you felt as though that you are not able to kind of get away? You know, we can be in a relationship that we feel that we have a death grip. You know, maybe it comes in the form of some kind of a person that has power over us, and it might just be like an individual, like male or female. And you might in your life, or maybe it's an employer, maybe an employer has a death grip over you. And so you say, I can't get out of this situation. And when you feel powerless, it kind of it starts to affect you physically. Like the way I felt this morning, the energy kept trying to come over me, this fear. And I kept trying to say to myself, no, ground yourself, no, ground yourself. Imagine your feet firmly planted in the earth's surface. And I was like, you know, I was trying to pull all of me together. And then I was imagining light, and I was asking for angels. And so there is sources that you can go to. You can ask for help. You can say, please help me, please help me. And it might not be a person. It might be, you know, I believe in God. And so for me, it's more on that side of spiritual content. You know, I'm asking for help that way. And maybe it is a person or a friend. But if you feel as though that you have this death grip, you know, they say it's a hold, it's a command, it's something that has power over you. You want to break free from that. You want to break free from that, because how are you going to be yourself? How are you going to reach your destiny if someone or something has power over you? Now, when you're in this situation, you feel as though you can't move, you feel stagnant, you feel stuck. Have you ever felt stuck? And maybe it's in a relationship, maybe it's in your job, your career. Maybe it's with an employee or an employer, or maybe it's with a friend. Maybe it's your neighbor. I don't know. But if you feel as though you have this kind of death grip around you and you're not going to be released, you're going to have to get yourself out of it yourself. And you're going to have that power within you. And how is that going to happen? With your thoughts. So a death grip is the total and permanent cessation of your vital organs if you're in a death grip, which means you're going to die. We don't want to die. We have to survive this. And so it will be the total death of your brain. And so we have to see light. We have to have hope that there's a better situation, a better circumstance beyond what we can see. Because literally, our thoughts are that powerful. They're a vibration, they're a frequency. Just like I say, when we tune into our clear senses, how are you receiving that information from someone else, from another location? Because it has thoughts and emotions attached to it. And miraculously, you're having thought transference to your mind, to your thought. You're writing it down. How is that possible unless a thought is that powerful? Now, when we have unity and collective consciousness and we all have the same thoughts, we are going to create this reality, this new timeline. So a tight grip that you have, if you have this death grip around you, it will cause panic within you. And so you do feel like you may be clinging for life, dear life. This emotion of fear can overtake you. Now, if it's moments like I had it this morning for basically 1 hour, I had this fear. It was very strong and powerful. Was it someone physically grabbing me and squeezing my throat? A death grip? No. But it sure as heck felt like I was being held. It felt like I was, on my last breath. It was very, very scary. And I was afraid. I was afraid. But I had to kind of reach within me with all of my might and pull my strength up through my body and 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 take control over myself and say, Mary, it's going to be okay. So we must do that for ourselves. We must do that for ourselves because no one else can do that for us. We can only do that for ourselves. So we must pull up all of our power within ourselves because there's a lot there, whether you realize it or not. You have so much within you. You're a highly advanced, multi-dimensional being of light. Now, as you've awakened, your vessel is changing. It's morphing. It's transitioning into crystalline light. So sometimes when you go to sleep at night, you might feel as though you have like a little vibration going through your legs or your arms. You know, when we do the ball of light, we can feel the vibration on our hands. Maybe you'll feel that on your legs at night because you are physically changing. You're morphing into another version of you. You have so much within you. That's why your opinions matter. Your decision-making matters. When you pull out of the driveway, are you going right or left? Everything matters. Let's change our energetic pattern. We have an energetic pattern that we are running through our day. It becomes stronger the more that we do it. So if you want to reach one of your 5 humongous goals, you're going to have to branch out from your energetic pattern, which means you're not going to visit all the same people. You're not going to drive to every location the same way. You're going to tune more into your senses. Your intuition will guide you. Now, I'm not just saying you're just haphazardly changing what you do. I'm saying there is an intention behind it. What is your intention? Where are you going? Be more creative with your thoughts. Realize if you want to reach your destiny, you're keeping your eye on the prize, and you're going to have to make some changes. You're going to have to branch out from your energetic pattern. So your energetic pattern is really the flow of your day, the flow of your week, how you do everything. Now, if you say, well, I want this, I want that, what changes are you making? How are you altering how you're thinking, your actions? How are you altering them? You can't say, oh, I want to go on this Caribbean vacation, but you're doing all the same things. There's got to be some changes. Start to do some research, start to investigate. Because when we start to investigate, right, that's a thought. So now there's energy attached to that. Then you keep investigating whatever it is that you want in your destiny. Keep moving towards it. And you don't share it with anyone unless they really, really, really are supportive, or you have something concrete that you can share. Because a lot of times people don't realize that they are poo-pooing whatever it is you want because they don't want that for themselves. So those in fear will attract negativity and illness to themselves. Yes. Those who know their power can be healing. Yes. Yes, your thoughts create your reality. 1,000,000%. Are your thoughts creating your reality? Yes, they are. Anyone who's joining us, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. So, we're not going to be in the death grip any longer. We're not going to be in the death grip. We're going to emphasize the terminated timeline. The 3-dimensional timeline is done. It's just a matter. We're going to see that physically in the physical reality. Now, is there going to be a big event that happens? Maybe the solar flash, maybe a prophet, a savior will come on. Maybe there'll be some cataclysmic event. I don't know. I just know that it's begun. The awakening process has begun. And it's supposed to be the age, the golden age coming, the age of Aquarius. And so peace on earth. And there won't be divide because the divide was created to keep those in power. It's pretty simple. Those in power. So that's been terminated. That's in the dumpster. We're going to see by the end of the year what happens. 10, what does that say? 10 watching nice. 10. He's funny. That's Raymond. That's Raymond in Thailand. He's so funny, Raymond in Thailand. So have you been working on your psychic abilities? Psychic phenomenon, clear senses? What has everybody been doing? Have you been tuning into? Have you been working on your telepathy skills? So for me, I've been receiving a lot of clairaudience, like I said. So it started out, the first time I mentioned clear senses, what did I say for those of you who are not familiar with my exercises? There's nothing that can stop the awakening, the great consciousness. Yes, 1,000,000% Keith. Thanks for sharing that. What was it the first thing that I said about our clear senses? I said, go into a quiet space. Turn off all electronics. Close your eyes. Quiet your mind. Let go of any thought attachments. Those thought attachments, that sack of thought attachments, it's on the side of the road. We cut it off. We're not giving any more power to all that programming. It's only what's here in this moment. That's all that matters. Not really the future, not the past, right here. So we have to be right here in this moment. So we're going to close our eyes. We're going to go to a quiet space. We're going to turn off our electronics. We're going to have patience. And we're also going to let go of any doubt that we are capable of doing this. Right? We're going to let go. Lie out in the sun with your skin exposed. Yes, the sun is very important. I do that. I go lay on a bench at the boardwalk. So you're going to let go of any thought attachments. You're going to let out a breath. You're going to have a pad of paper with you. It's very important you have a pad of paper with you. And you're going to listen beyond the walls of the room. First, start with this room. And then you're going to listen beyond the walls of the room as far as your ears can take you. You'll be surprised with practice how far your ears can take you. Now, eventually what's going on is you're stretching your senses, which is what we should have been taught since we were children, to stretch all of our senses. And we probably would have been all talking without our mouths right now telepathically, because in Tataria, that's what they did. We are capable of this, of telepathy. You know, I'm an intuitive, but however, everyone's an intuitive. Everyone's capable of this. It's just which are your senses that you master. So you listen beyond the walls of the room. Maybe you imagine all the way out into beyond the clouds. Now, is this a dome? I don't know. What is beyond the clouds? I wonder. One day I'd like to see what's beyond the clouds. And so that's really the first step that you want to take. Now, maybe you're a meditator. Maybe you do a lot of meditation, and this is going to be easy for you to open up your third eye. You might want to do what's called, what's it called? It's called token object reading, where you take a stranger's object and you basically do a reading on them. That's very advanced. So basically you're receiving an impression. We speak about impressions. Impressions are from another source. You're receiving information. Maybe you're going to see a symbol, numbers, words, a person, a circumstance, an animal. And you're going to write down whatever it is you receive. So you would take someone else's object if you want to do a reading, and you're going to say, and this is what psychics do for detective work, to solve a murder. You know, there's movies about this. I don't know if The Illusionist has that. There's a movie, a TV show with a guy, and The Mentalist, I think it's called. And, you know, you get an object and you can do a reading. That's how strong your senses are with objects. Maybe you ask a friend and you say to a friend, can we do some kind of reading together where we're doing mind to mind? And so you're connecting with the other person's thoughts. And so you quiet yourself. You go into a very deep meditative state. And you ask the person to send you information, mind to mind. You're going to concentrate, make contact, and see what you receive. Now, each of us are going to tune into someone differently. I tune into someone's heart, and then I receive information. I tune into someone's voice, and I receive information. This is entirely up to you. It's very personal. As soon as you broach this subject and you tune in and you start to investigate, like you go down, we said the rabbit hole earlier, the white rabbit from Alice in Wonderland. He traveled down the rabbit hole and he's challenging himself. He's following the clues and finding himself into the middle of a very extraordinary situation. That's what's going to happen when you do a reading. Now you have to take away any of your thoughts. It's not about your thinking. You don't sit there and do a reading by saying, I'm going to read this person. They're wearing a pair of jeans and a white shirt. No, that's not how you do a reading. Your clairsenses are going to take over. Your intuition is going to take over. It's not about what someone physically looks like. You're tuning into them, their personality, their feelings, their emotions, and you will receive information. We can hear whispers with a completely blank mind. Yes, now you are late, Deanna. Thoughts will just come in. Whispers. Yes, Keith. So exactly, you might receive information from another source, a sensation. I shared a few weeks ago that I was with one of my close friends, and we were sitting there, and all of a sudden, I'm sitting there with her on the beach when it was warm enough to be on the beach, and all of a sudden, I smelled and tasted cinnamon gum. And I said, what is that? That's clear gustinance. That's clear gustinance. That's clear gustinance. I'm having a memory. Whose memory is that? And so I said it out loud to my friend. And she said, oh, that's so funny you're saying that. I was just talking about my sister. And when she was talking about her sister, I had this sense that I was chewing the taste in my mouth and the smell of cinnamon gum. She said, my sister hated cinnamon gum. And so it was like very interesting that I received that information. That's what I received. So you don't know how you're going to receive it. Everyone's going to be different. Now, maybe you're going to have a sensation, a chill over your body. Maybe a spirit will visit you. I've been doing the ball of light in the last few days. And one time I did remote viewing, and one time it was a spirit. So a spirit came through this man that was very angry with me that I had this ball of light. And remote viewing, what is remote viewing? So remote viewing you might have is that you're sensing, you're receiving information from another location, and it might be hidden from physical view. And so you might receive information from a certain location that's going to come through what it looks like, the people that are there, some circumstance that's going on there. And, from what I understand, this is part of the ESP program that was going on in the government. They did remote viewing. They would remote view, target sites in the military. And they wanted to see what was going on there. There was men that were maybe women, highly skilled at seeing locations without being there. Now, when I do a healing on someone, I'm remote viewing them. I'm imagining them within me. In front of me, I have their picture, I have their name, I have their location, and I'm seeing them in front of me. So it is possible. So these are all avenues that you might want to take to be, aware of your clairsenses. What else? Things will just come in. And you might hear something. I hear throughout my day different from another location, from another source. I hear information. And sometimes it's a premonition. Sometimes it's a way of alerting me about something that I'm supposed to do or warn me. And as you become more acclimated to your clairsenses, to all of your senses, and we'll do a little exercise. We'll do 2 little exercises before we go today. So I'm not going to do a visualization. You will realize that throughout your day, you might start to hear, someone gives you information or a memory comes forward. And you might have a premonition about something that's about to happen. You might have a dream. It's pretty exciting stuff if you want to join in with me. Okay, anyone who's joining us, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. So let's try this quickly before we go today. I'll be back again tomorrow at 11. I know today we were a little bit later. But let's, for fun, let's do a little exercise. So I'd like everyone to close their eyes, please, if you would like to join us. And if you're not interested, I understand. I'm not for everyone. I get that, and that's okay. I know I have a mission. So let's all close our eyes, and we're going to do like a little exercise right now. And we're going to close our eyes. We're going to do a type of exercise about really tuning into our senses. And then we're going to do the ball of light. So we're going to close our eyes, and we're going to really let go of any thoughts that we have before this moment. So let it go. We're going to let it go. We're going to take away any doubt that we can do this activity, this exercise. We're going to say, I'm very capable of doing this exercise. It's very simple. It doesn't take much. And I'm going to let out a breath. And I'm going to give myself some patience, because sometimes when we do these activities, these exercises, we want immediate results. Now, there's not going to be a lot of proof, is there? The only proof you're going to have is if you're doing an exercise with someone else and they're saying to you, yes, that's exactly what I was thinking, or that's exactly what happened to me. But we're not going to have proof. And so we have to accept that. Oh, I just got a ringing in my ear. And so we're going to let go of any doubt. We're going to let out a breath. And so we're going to quiet our minds. And we're going to really tune in to our senses in this space that we're in right now. And we're going to see if we receive any impressions. So the impression might come through. You might hear something. You might taste something. You might know something else that you didn't know before. And you have to be aware, is it your thought or a thought from another source? And that's where you start to tune in and realize. So you're going to tune into your heart, and we're going to go through each of them as we do this. So right now we're going to let go. We're going to have patience. We're going to let out a breath. We're going to relax all of our body from the top of our head to the tip of our toes. Any stress that's in your body, you're going to, if you have to, tense up and let go, tense up and let go, and let out a breath. Okay, so I'd like you to first go to your hearing sense, your sense of hearing. And I'd like you to hear as much as you can right now. I'm going to be quiet for a minute, and then we're going to go to another sense. So I'd like you to go to your hearing and see how far can you hear, and are you hearing anything? Now, don't try too hard. Just have patience. Be relaxed. Start hearing. So you want to be in the room, listening in the room, or your space, wherever you are. And then you're listening beyond the walls of the room, listening as far as your ears can take you. Maybe it's up in the sky. Maybe it's blocks away. And so this is just practice to tune in to your hearing. If you're having any trouble with this, imagine your feet firmly planted in the ground, in the earth, to ground yourself, and imagine you're in this moment. You're in this moment. Okay, so now let's move on to the next sense. So we worked on the hearing. We practiced our hearing because we're listening as far as we can imagine. Now let's go to our sense of smell. So what are we smelling? And so you want to smell as much as you can, because you're just tuning into your sense of smell. Now maybe you have a clogged nose or something like that. You want to just do as best as you can, as what do you sense through your nose? Is there anything you sense? And this is just a way of really, really tuning into your senses. And it's about, being aware. What smells do you smell in the room or the space that you're in right now? And if beyond the walls of the room, what would you smell? It's interesting with each of these what comes through. So for me, what came through, I'm just going to share with you. So for me, what came through for when I did the hearing, because we're going to move on, I saw actually, it's almost like I'm seeing something, but I'm working on my hearing. I saw the sun and I saw a lot of orange. It was like a solar, I don't know if it was a solar flare or it was something related to the sun. So I saw the sun and I saw the heat of the sun, but I was listening. And then when I did the smell, I actually, for some reason, I went all the way up and I saw birds. So maybe I got a smell from birds. I don't know. It's very interesting. And so you want to share with me when we're done anything that you're sensing while we're doing this little exercise, this activity. Anyone who's joining us, please like the video and subscribe to the channel if you so deem it. So let's move on beyond the hearing and the smell. And we're going to go to our taste. Now, these are difficult, you might think, because, it's not so obvious, but it is part of your senses. So you're tuning in. So let's see. Oh, you heard birds too. Interesting. All right. So let's do our taste for a minute. Do we taste anything? And that's not, unless you're eating, it's not really like, how are you tasting? But it's your senses. It's alerting your senses. So let's alert our taste sense. So what are you tasting in this room, beyond this room or this space, as far as you can imagine? You're just tuning into your senses. Interesting. I got fire in that one. I was going to like the inside of a volcano or something like that, fire. It's so funny because I'm getting like a visual when I do this. And so if you receive any kind of sense from your senses, maybe it's a feeling, maybe it's an emotion, it's entirely up to you. You're going to find out that you have mastery over some clairsense and accept it. Accepting all of this is very important, because you can block yourself from receiving information, and anything you receive throughout your day is important. Okay, let's move on. So we did the hearing, we did smell, we did taste. So let's tune into our hearts now. So it's going to be our feeling, right? Our empathy. We're going with our feelings. So we're going to tune into our heart. And so what we're doing is we're tuning into that sense. So we're really, really concentrating on that sense in this space, beyond this space. And so you're imagining beyond. And so you're going to receive some kind of impression when you do this. So let's do our heart now. Let's do our feelings. Okay, so for me, what I received was, Hamano, what I received was I went beyond this wall, so in this room, in this space, and so I first said, oh, I have so much joy within me right now because I think I got through my appointment this morning. But what happened was I went out into the community with my heart. And what did I receive? I received a lot of arguing. I received a lot of like conflict. So did you receive anything? We're really tuning into our senses now. Okay, so what would that be then? We have taste, hearing, smell, feeling, and what's next? Touch. Okay, so I guess it's more like maybe just put our hands out there. What are we touching in the energy space around us? What are you going to receive? This is not easy to do, is it? Okay, so let's just put our hands out into the space that we have. Are you receiving any kind of, so immediately I'm receiving energies touching my palms, on my fingertips. Are you receiving anything when you do this right now? You're putting your hands out into the space that you're in energetically, right? So are you receiving anything? Are your hands being touched? Do you feel as though you're touching something in this space? And then we want to go beyond the walls, beyond this space. Okay, so when I did that, right now I actually feel like it's almost like an electrical current coming through my hands. What are you feeling? And then when I reached beyond the space of this, I saw water. So it's interesting. Tips of my finger, yes, tingly, exactly. Yes, yay, you guys all got it. So this is great. You are awakened. You have light coming into your system. This is beautiful. Congratulations. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy for everyone. Thank you, you guys. Wow, congratulations. Congrats. Yay. We're beings of light. That's beautiful. Okay, so now beyond that would have to be whatever your sixth sense is, right? And so what it would be is you're mastering one of the clear senses, which is clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsustenance, clairgustance, clairalliance, which is smelling, claircognizance, which is knowing. So you're knowing. That would be the only one that would be left, really, what you're knowing. So your knowing would be your sixth sense. So we know. So we have an instant knowing. When you are mastering your clairsense, when you have your clairsense, your claircognizance, your clairgustance, your clairvoyance, you have a knowing from another source. Be aware. So we are on our way. Thank you so much for everyone doing that exercise with us. Now, before we go, we're going to do a quick ball of light, and then we have to go because I'm past my time. Now, did I mention angels? I have to mention angels. Angels are beings of light. They come from the heavens to earth to protect humanity. They are made of light. They're messengers. They are protectors, and they guide us to our destiny. And they warn us of impending danger or alert us. Maybe you feel on the top of your head an angel is touching you. You'll feel like little taps on your head. Maybe you feel a brush across your face, a cool brush. Maybe you sense an angel around you. Now, if you would like angels to join you, you ask for them to come into your space. They might lift you up through a difficult situation. And anything is possible. So let's do a ball of light before we go because our time is up. Thank you, Mary. It was so beautiful to feel your energy live. Thank you. Thank you, Keith. Okay, so 369. Those are the numbers of Tesla, aren't they? I'm trying to remember. Where did you say you're coming from, Keith? You might have told me before, and I didn't write it down. Maybe it's somewhere else. Okay. So we're going to rub our hands together. Nikola Tesla said 3, 6, and 9. And if you watch Michael De La Rocca, he talks about Tesla all the time. He has a great channel. So we're rubbing our hands together. We're really trying to investigate our clairsenses. And so we take them apart and we should feel some vibration, and it's creating concentration and it's creating focus. Now we're bringing light upon this earth right now. And the more of us that do this, we're bringing light here. And so what are we seeing? Well, I see in my third eye farm animals. So that's the country. I'm feeling a very strong vibration on my hands, and I've been imagining and seeing a ball of light or standing by it. So it's basically a ball of light that might be 6 feet tall. And so I imagine myself in my third eye standing next to this ball of light, and what do I receive? Anyone who's joining us, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. So we're doing a ball of light, which is a way of creating energy. It's a ball of energy right now in my hand, isn't it? And so I have a very strong vibration. So everything for me seems to have expanded. And I guess because I have more of a willingness to accept who I am, to have a willingness. I have a willingness. Do you have a willingness? I'm Mary Amy, and this is Living in the Light, and I'm all about shifting away darkness. All right, so I'm standing next to this ball of light, and what do I see? What do I see? I'm standing next to this ball of light. This ball of light is enormous. So what am I seeing next to this ball of light? So I'm tuning in. And what are you doing? Are you trying to do this as well? Okay, so the ball of light is actually not standing still anymore. It's spinning. And there's actually not just myself, but there's others spinning the light. So maybe it's those who are joining us today. They're spinning the ball of light, and it's moving clockwise. Maybe this is a Merkaba, an ancient vehicle of light. So is this a Merkaba? So they're spinning the light, and they're laughing, and they're happy, and I'm there too as well. And so the ball of light is actually lifting up off the ground. And we're all climbing in it. Interesting. So today I saw a ball of light that was lifted up off the ground. And what are you receiving with your ball of light? Interesting. So it's gone to another level. So you know what I'm receiving from this? The reason why today that it changed is because I'm unblocked. So the ball of light has risen above the ground because I'm unblocked. For me, at least. So I'm going to put my hands together. You were sending it to me? What were you sending? Tell me. You were sending me the ball of light, and that's why you joined me? You know what? This is really good. We have telepathy going on with us. And it worked, and I received it. We did it today. I was the receiver, and Deanna was the sender. Fantastic. Okay, everyone, I'm sending you all love, and I'm wishing good things for you on this Thursday. I hope everyone has a wonderful, beautiful day. Spend some time in nature. I'll be back again tomorrow at 11. I really will. I don't have anything, no appointments tomorrow morning. I'm spinning light, and you're in the middle of it. Thank you, Ian, for joining us. It was wonderful that you all came aboard today, and I want good things for you. And I know now that this terminated timeline is come, it's happened. Those that have awakened will tumble into the rabbit hole that we've all been visiting ourselves lately. And we have good luck. We have good luck coming, beautiful wishes. So here you are in the center of the light. I'm spinning light around you. I'm spinning light all around you. I'm spinning it all around the chat right now. That's what I'm doing. Spinning light all around the chat, and I want good things for you. And everyone have a wonderful day. Be well. Okay. Oh, And there's my pumpkin for Halloween. Okay, bye. Happy manifesting to you too. Thanks, Hamano. Take care. Bye, Deanna. I was laughing too. That's funny. You guys are awesome. I hope you join me again tomorrow. Bye.